How to Find True Peace. A story that will touch you by True Stories 357. Once upon a time, in a quiet little village surrounded by tall mountains, there lived a young man named Lucas. He was 25 years old, but his heart felt much older, weighed down by a restless mind that never seemed to stop. From morning until night, his head was filled with thoughts that rose and fell like waves in a storm. Memories of the past haunted him, while fears about the future pulled him away from the present. His nights were sleepless, his smiles forgotten. Even on sunny days, Lucas felt as though dark clouds followed only him. One afternoon, as he wandered near the edge of the fields, Lucas overheard some travelers speaking about a faraway village in the hills. They spoke of an old man who lived there, a wise elder who had once been a famous psychologist in the bustling city. He had helped many find peace in their troubled minds. But now, in his later years, he had chosen a quieter life, close to nature. Sometimes, villagers and strangers alike would visit him, and he would gently share his wisdom. The words lit a spark of hope in Lucas's weary heart. Maybe, just maybe, he thought, this man can show me the way to peace. He felt a pull stronger than doubt, and so Lucas decided to begin his journey. It would not be easy. The road was long, the weather harsh at times, and each night he fell asleep on cold ground beneath unfamiliar skies. Yet something inside urged him onward. With each step, the weight of his longing grew lighter, replaced by a fragile thread of hope. After many days of travel, Lucas finally arrived at the hillside village. The air there was cooler, filled with the scent of pine and earth after rain. Birds called to one another across the treetops, and the sound soothed his restless spirit. He followed a narrow path until he saw a small house almost hidden beneath climbing vines and flowers. The home was simple, yet alive with color, as though nature itself had wrapped it in care. On the porch, the old man sat quietly in a wooden chair. His eyes were closed, his face calm, as if he were listening to something beyond the world. For a moment, Lucas just stood there, afraid to disturb the stillness. Then he took a breath, stepped closer, and spoke softly. "Grandfather, my mind is so restless. I cannot stop thinking. I want peace in my heart. Can you help me?" The old man slowly opened his eyes. They shone with a gentleness that immediately eased Lucas's fear. A faint smile touched his lips. "So, you are searching for peace," he said in a calm, steady voice. "Then come with me. I will give you a small task." He led Lucas into the yard, where a wooden table stood beneath a tree. On it rested a simple glass. The elder filled it carefully with water until the liquid trembled right at the rim, ready to spill with the slightest shake. Then he placed the glass in Lucas's hands. "Now," the old man said, "walk from here to the edge of the village and return. But remember, do not let even one drop of water fall." Lucas stared at the glass in disbelief. This task seemed almost impossible. Yet he nodded, determined to try. Holding the glass firmly, he began his walk. The path was narrow, crowded with people. Children laughed and played, chasing each other in the dust. Shopkeepers called out to customers, their voices loud and persuasive. Dogs barked, wagging their tails as they darted across the road. But Lucas did not turn his head. His eyes remained fixed on the trembling water. Every step was careful, measured. His breath slowed. His body bent gently forward, guarding the glass as though it held the answer to his life. People along the road paused to watch. Some smiled knowingly, recognizing the lesson unfolding. No one interrupted. They let him pass, carrying his fragile burden with focus and care. At last, after what felt like hours, Lucas returned to the yard. The water still touched the rim, but not a single drop had been lost. "Grandfather," Lucas said, relief and pride in his voice, "I did it. Not one drop spilled." The old man nodded, eyes warm with approval. Then he asked softly, "Tell me, on your journey, did you see the children playing? Did you hear the dogs barking?" Lucas blinked in surprise. "No," he admitted. "I didn't notice anything. My eyes, my ears, my whole mind was only on the glass." The elder smiled once more, his voice like a calm stream. "That is the secret. The peace you seek has always been inside you. It reveals itself when your mind rests in the present moment. When you walked with the glass, you were not lost in the past, nor afraid of the future. You were here, now." That focus quieted the storm within. Lucas felt the words sink deep into him. He understood at last. Peace was not something far away. It was not hidden in other people or in places yet to be found. Peace was already within his own heart, waiting for him to return to it by living in this moment. He bowed his head, voice soft but steady. "Grandfather, now I see. If I want to calm my mind, I must keep it here, in the present. That is when true peace comes." The old man's smile deepened. Behind him, the sun was beginning to set. Golden light spilled across the hills, touching the ground with warmth. Birds circled homeward, wings glowing in the fading light. A breeze stirred the leaves, carrying with it the fragrance of earth and pine. The world seemed quieter now, as though it too had listened to the lesson. Lucas turned to leave, but he was no longer the same restless young man. Each step felt lighter. His heart, once heavy with storms, now carried a quiet rhythm of calm. The journey had changed him not because of the distance he had walked, but because of the discovery he had made inside himself. And so he walked back into his life, but with new eyes. He knew now that when the storms of thought returned, he could choose to bring his mind back to this moment. And in that simple act, peace would rise again. If you found meaning in Lucas's journey, give this story a gentle like and share it with your friends. And don't forget to subscribe for more stories filled with lessons and quiet inspiration. Thank you for being here. And until the next story, stay well and stay peaceful.